What is stronger than anger? What can stop a rising wave of chaos the moment it begins to swell? It's not force. It's not shouting louder than the noise. It's calm. In today's world, speed is celebrated. We rush through messages, chase deadlines, and respond to pressure with pressure. But think about this in your own life. When has losing your calm ever helped you make a wiser choice? We like to believe that quick reactions show strength, yet more often than not, they lead to regret. True power lies in the quiet space between stimulus and response. Calm is not the absence of feeling, it's the mastery of it. It's what writer Jerry Larkin calls a great gift, one that transforms how you face every difficult situation that stirs your emotions. Imagine starting your day not in a rush, but with a smile, a mind steady and detached from needless drama, and a heart rich with gratitude. Imagine your heart as a still lake surface, undisturbed, deep and serene, no matter how much the wind outside blows. And yes, this is not just poetic imagery. You can train for it. Practices like yoga don't only make your body more flexible, they calm your mind, soften your heart, and awaken your awareness of life itself. When body, mind, and heart are aligned, chaos outside loses its grip on you. Here on this channel, we explore the art of building that inner lake through daily habits, mental discipline, and timeless wisdom. In the next chapters, we'll uncover how calm becomes your unshakable foundation, from morning rituals to the philosophy of stillness, from emotional resilience to the mindful practice of movement. But before we dive in, I want to hear from you. When was the last time you truly stayed calm in the middle of a storm? Share your story in the comments. Your words might inspire someone else to do the same. If you're ready to create a mind that can't be shaken and a heart that can't be broken, subscribe now. Let's begin this journey slowly, intentionally, and with the quiet strength that changes everything. Calmness is not a personality trait you're either born with or without. It is not an accident, and it's not luck. It is something you can train, something you can claim, and something you can protect. Writer Gary Larkin calls it a great gift. But unlike a gift you unwrap and hold in your hands, calmness is a gift you build, nurture, and carry within you everywhere. It is portable and unstealable. No one can take it away unless you hand it over. Think about what makes something a gift. It is valuable. It is rare. It changes you when you receive it. Calmness does all three. It is valuable because it reshapes how you respond to life's toughest moments. It is rare because the modern world rewards speed, volume, and reaction, not stillness and reflection. And it changes you once you have tasted true calm. The noise of impulsive reactions feels foreign, almost unbearable. We live in a culture of instant replies, fast decisions, and breaking news. Your phone buzzes, your inbox fills your schedule, overflows, and somewhere in the middle of it all, you're expected to respond now. But think about this. How many times has a rushed emotional reaction truly made things better? More often, it leads to regret. Words you wish you hadn't spoken, decisions you wish you hadn't made. The reason calmness feels rare is because the space between stimulus and response has been eroded. We've forgotten we have the right to pause. Calmness is not slowing down for the sake of it. It is about reclaiming that space so you can see clearly before you act. When you are calm, you do not merely survive difficult situations, you can actually transform them. Someone else's anger does not dictate your mood. A sudden problem does not spiral into panic. An unexpected change does not destroy your sense of control. Calmness becomes a mirror that reflects reality without distortion. In that clarity, you can choose a response instead of being trapped by impulse. There's also an undeniable influence calmness has on others. A calm leader steadies the team when uncertainty strikes. A calm friend diffuses tension in the middle of conflict. Calmness radiates, it tells people there is no need to lose ourselves here. Several years ago, a friend of mine, Daniel, was in a meeting where a major deal was about to collapse. Voices rose. Blame was flying across the table. Everyone seemed locked in defense mode except Daniel. Instead of defending himself or throwing accusations, he leaned back, listened carefully, and then said quietly, "Let's write down the facts before we decide what to do." The energy in the room shifted. His calmness slowed everyone down. In 15 minutes, what felt like an unsalvageable disaster turned into a new plan that saved the deal. Daniel didn't avoid the problem. He didn't suppress his emotions. He simply refused to hand over control of his mind to the chaos in the room. Pause before responding. Even a single deep breath can prevent words you'll later regret. That momentary pause is your shield. Create daily stillness, whether it's 5 minutes of silence in the morning or a short walk without your phone. Find moments to reset your mind. Detach from what you cannot control. This doesn't mean ignoring reality, but it does mean refusing to let uncontrollable events dictate your peace. Practice under small pressures. Use minor irritations, long lines, traffic jams, delays as training grounds. If you can meet small annoyances calmly, you'll be better prepared for big ones. Reflect. Don't ruminate. When a challenging moment passes, look back and ask, what did I handle well? What will I improve next time? Over time, these practices turn calmness from an occasional choice into your default state. Calmness frees you from emotional slavery. You are no longer yanked in every direction by someone else's words, moods, or mistakes. You begin to own your reactions instead of outsourcing them to the heat of the moment. In this way, calmness is a deeply personal form of power, quiet, steady, and unshakable. And perhaps, most importantly, it's contagious. Your calm presence might be the one thing that keeps another person from sinking into panic. You may never know the full impact, but it is there quietly rippling outward. The Stoics regarded calmness not as a luxury, but as a duty to oneself. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment." To them, events are neutral. It is our interpretation that creates disturbance. By mastering our perception, we master our emotions. This is why Epictetus urged his students to focus only on what lies within their control thoughts, actions and choices, and let go of the rest. Calmness then is not passive. It is active self-governance. It is choosing not to be a puppet of anger, fear, or impulse. And when you live this way, you not only protect your own peace, but also offer stability to everyone around you, becoming in effect the anchor in any storm. There's a thin, invisible line between reacting and responding. At first glance, they look almost the same. Both are actions taken after something happens. But in reality, the difference is enormous. One is impulsive, the other is intentional. One can escalate chaos, the other can diffuse it. Reaction is what happens when you let your emotions take the wheel without asking where they're going. Response is what happens when you pause long enough to choose your direction. And mastering calmness is at its core about replacing reaction with response. Reactions are fast. They are instinctive. They happen before your reasoning mind has time to weigh in. If someone cuts you off in traffic, your hand might go straight to the horn. If a colleague criticizes you in front of others, your mouth might fire back before your mind has processed the words. Reactions are often driven by one of three forces. Fear. You feel threatened and lash out to protect yourself. Anger. You feel wronged and want to strike back. Ego. You feel your identity or status is under attack and you defend it reflexively. The problem with reactions is that they usually serve the moment, not the bigger picture. They can damage relationships, undermine trust, and leave you with regrets you can't take back. Responses are deliberate. They take into account not just what happened, but why it matters and what outcome you want. A response considers the bigger game. If reaction is an arrow shot, the instant you see a target, response is an arrow aimed after you've checked the wind distance and purpose of the shot. Response is thoughtful action. It does not mean inaction. In fact, it can be swift, but it's never mindless. Between stimulus and action lies a space, the space where choice lives. The shorter that space, the more likely you are to react. The longer it is, the more likely you are to respond. This space is where calmness operates. Without calm, you might not even notice the space exists. With calm, you can step into it and make decisions with clarity. In a small design agency, 2 senior partners were discussing a project with a client when one partner, Tom, was unexpectedly accused of missing a deadline. His initial instinct was to defend himself. The deadline had been met, and he could prove it, but he noticed his pulse quicken and his voice starting to rise. Instead of speaking immediately, Tom took a sip of water, nodded, and said, "I'd like to go over the timeline together to make sure we're aligned." The conversation shifted from confrontation to collaboration. Later, Tom admitted that without that pause, just a few seconds, he would have reacted defensively, which might have led to a public argument. That moment of calm turned a potential conflict into an opportunity to reinforce trust. How to train the shift from reaction to response. Notice your triggers. Pay attention to the people, situations, or words that consistently cause a spike in emotion. Awareness is the first step. Practice the pause. Even 2 or 3 seconds of silence before speaking can completely change the tone of your response. Ask a clarifying question. Instead of assuming, invite more information. This slows the exchange and buys you time to think. Focus on the desired outcome. Before you speak or act, ask yourself, what result do I want here? Detach your ego. Not every challenge is a threat to your identity. Some things are simply misunderstandings, not personal attacks. Responding instead of reacting not only improves your relationships, it protects your peace. You stop being a slave to every emotional wave that hits you. You learn that your worth and stability don't depend on winning every momentary battle. And over time, this habit builds trust. People know they can bring difficult issues to you without fear of explosive reactions. You become the steady hand in volatile moments, the one others look to when things get tense. Interestingly, with enough practice, the pause between stimulus and response becomes natural, almost automatic. Your body may feel the surge of emotion, but your mind steps in before your mouth or hands move. It's a kind of calm reflex, fast, but guided by clarity instead of impulse. This is the mark of mastery, responding quickly without sacrificing thoughtfulness. The Stoics understood this distinction well. Epictetus famously taught, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Here, react should be read as choose your stance, not act without thought. For the Stoics, the goal was to maintain control over the one thing that truly belongs to you, your mind. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself in meditations that when confronted with rudeness or injustice, the fault lay in the other person's ignorance, not in his own nature. Responding with reason preserved his dignity. In modern terms, the Stoic way is about guarding the gap between event and action. By extending that gap, even for a breath, you reclaim freedom from the pull of impulse. In this way, calmness is the very space where your principles have time to speak louder than your emotions. It sounds almost too simple. Start your day with a smile. But the simplicity is deceptive. A genuine smile in the morning is not just a mood booster. It's a small, deliberate act that sets the emotional tone for the rest of your day. We often underestimate mornings. We stumble out of bed, glance at our phones, and dive straight into the noise of emails, news, and demands. Before we've even had a chance to choose our emotional state, the world chooses it for us. That's why the first few minutes after waking are precious. They are the moment you can decide who you want to be before the day begins shaping you. A smile is a decision. It's the choice to tell your mind and body we're starting in a good place. Neuroscience shows that smiling triggers the release of dopamine, serotonin, and endorphins, neurotransmitters linked to happiness, reduce stress and pain relief. The act of smiling, even if you don't yet feel joyful, can shift your biochemistry toward a more positive state. This is not about faking happiness. It's about signaling to your nervous system that it's safe to relax. When your body gets this message early in the day, it becomes easier to stay balanced when challenges arise. Psychologists have long studied the facial feedback hypothesis, the idea that your facial expressions can influence your emotional experience. Smiling doesn't just reflect your mood, it can shape it. A morning smile, especially when paired with a deep breath, acts like a mental reset button. It disrupts any lingering negativity from the day before and opens space for a fresh perspective. Your smile is not just for yourself. When you greet your partner, a colleague, or even a stranger with a relaxed, genuine smile, you change the emotional weather of that interaction. People unconsciously mirror the expressions they see. This is called emotional contagion. Your smile in the morning can start a chain reaction you'll never fully see, influencing how others treat you and each other throughout the day. Sophie, a nurse working night shifts, once told me she began a small experiment. Every morning, when her shift ended, she would step outside, take a slow breath and smile, even if she was exhausted. At first, she felt silly, but over time, she noticed that she walked home lighter, greeted the shopkeeper on her street with more warmth, and even slept better. The smile didn't erase her fatigue, but it reshaped how she carried it. Smile before you leave bed. As soon as you open your eyes, think of one thing you're grateful for, then smile about it. Use a mirror moment. While brushing your teeth, smile at yourself. It's a subtle reminder that you're meeting yourself with kindness before meeting the world. Pair it with breathing. Smile on a slow inhale. Keep it as you exhale. This links the act to physical relaxation. Anchor it to a ritual. Connect your smile with making coffee, opening a window, or greeting a family member. Habits stick better when linked to existing routines. Reflect on its effect. At night, recall if your morning smile helped in any interaction. The feedback will strengthen the habit. Some mornings smiling may feel forced, especially when you wake up to stress loss or uncertainty. In those moments, remember, a morning smile is not about pretending everything is fine. It's about choosing to start with openness rather than tension. You're not denying your challenges. You're preparing yourself to face them with a steadier mind. When you start the day in a calm, positive state, you increase your ability to respond thoughtfully instead of react impulsively. A morning smile is a small but powerful way to anchor yourself before the world demands your attention. It's the emotional equivalent of checking the map before you begin a journey, a reminder of your direction before you start moving. The Stoics didn't talk about smiling in the modern psychological sense, but they understood the importance of how you begin your day. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." For a Stoic, mornings were not to be wasted. They were the time to set intentions, to remind oneself of the principles that would guide the day. A morning smile in this light is a physical manifestation of gratitude and readiness. It signals that you are starting from a place of reasoned choice rather than chaotic reaction. By greeting the day with calmness and appreciation, you're aligning with the Stoic ideal, beginning each morning aware of life's impermanence, and therefore determined to live it well, no matter what it brings. A still mind is not an empty mind. It is a mind that remains unshaken in the middle of noise, pressure, and unpredictability. And when paired with emotional detachment, the ability to observe feelings without being ruled by them, it becomes one of the most powerful tools for living with clarity and resilience. Unfortunately, the phrase detached emotions is often misunderstood. Many imagine it means being cold, indifferent, or emotionally numb. But true detachment is nothing like that. It is not the absence of feeling. It is the refusal to let fleeting emotions dictate your actions or distort your perception. A still mind with detached emotions is like the surface of a clear lake. Waves may ripple across it, but they do not muddy the depths. You can see through to the bottom, no matter what passes over the top. Emotions are part of being human. You cannot and should not erase them. But problems arise when emotions drive decisions before reason has a chance to weigh in. Detachment doesn't mean you stop feeling. It means you stop being controlled by what you feel. Think of it as the difference between holding a balloon and being carried away by it. The balloon is still there, but you choose where it goes. This detachment allows you to show empathy without drowning in another person's emotional storm. It lets you acknowledge your own frustration without letting it leak into your decisions. It gives you the ability to see events for what they are not, for the story your emotions might be telling you in the heat of the moment. Clarity under pressure. In a crisis, most people's thinking narrows. They panic or overreact. A still mind stays broad, seeing the full picture. Better decision-making. Without the distortion of heightened emotion, you can weigh options more logically and fairly. Greater resilience. When you are not consumed by the emotional highs and lows, you recover faster from setbacks. Stronger relationships. People feel safer with someone who can listen without immediately taking offense or over-identifying with their pain. A teacher I know, Mr. Allen, once faced an angry parent accusing him of unfairly grading a student. The parent's voice was sharp, their words personal. Most people in his position would have felt attacked, growing defensive. But Mr. Allen listened quietly. He didn't interrupt. He didn't match the parent's intensity. When they finished, he calmly explained the grading criteria, showed examples of the student's work, and suggested a follow-up meeting to track progress. By keeping his mind still and his emotions in check, he avoided turning the meeting into a battle. The parent left not just calmer, but with a willingness to cooperate. Later, Mr. Allen told me, if I had reacted to the tone instead of the content, nothing productive would have happened. Observe without judgment. When an emotion arises, label it. I am feeling irritated instead of merging with it. I am irritated. Breathe through the wave. Use slow, steady breathing to give your mind space before acting. Separate fact from interpretation. Ask, what actually happened? And what story am I telling myself about it? Focus on long-term goals. Before reacting, consider how your response will affect the bigger picture. Limit emotional contagion. Notice when you're absorbing other people's emotions and consciously create mental space. Emotional detachment is what keeps a still mind from being capsized. Without it, even the calmest mental state can be disrupted by the first big wave of emotion, whether it's yours or someone else's. It's not about suppressing feelings. It's about letting them pass through without taking over the steering wheel. The mind becomes like a strong, steady riverbank. The water can rise and fall, but the bank holds its shape. Confusing detachment with avoidance. Ignoring emotions is not detachment, it's denial, and it often makes feelings stronger later. Mistaking calmness for weakness. Some will see your lack of emotional reaction as passivity, But true calmness is an active choice requiring discipline over detachment. Becoming so distant that you lose empathy disconnects you from others. Balance is key. A still mind with detached emotions is not something you turn on only in emergencies. It's a way of living. You practice it when you read upsetting news, when you're stuck in traffic, when someone interrupts you mid-sentence. These small daily rehearsals strengthen the mental muscle so that in big moments you naturally respond instead of react. The more you live this way, the less control external chaos has over you. You carry a quiet authority, not because you dominate others, but because you cannot be easily pulled off balance. The Stoics described this state as apatheia, not apathy, but freedom from the passions that cloud judgment. Epictetus taught, when something happens, the only thing in your power is your attitude toward it. You can either accept it or resent it. Marcus Aurelius practiced observing his own emotions like a passing storm, acknowledging them without surrendering his reason. For the Stoic, a still mind was not a luxury, it was the foundation of virtue. Without it, wisdom, justice, and courage could not be consistently applied. In Stoicism, emotional detachment is not about building walls. It is about clearing the inner space so you can act according to principle, not impulse. By mastering this, you remain steady, no matter what winds blow, becoming like a fortress that protects not just yourself, but the integrity of your choices. Gratitude is often spoken of as if it's a polite courtesy, something you say after receiving a gift or a kind gesture. But a grateful heart is far more than saying thank you. It is a way of seeing the world. It is the foundation upon which lasting happiness is built because it shifts your focus from what is missing to what is already present. A grateful heart doesn't deny that life can be difficult. It simply refuses to let difficulty blind it to the good that still exists. And in a culture obsessed with chasing the next achievement, purchase, or milestone, gratitude is an act of quiet rebellion. It says, what I have now is already enough to honor. Happiness built solely on achievement is fragile. The moment you reach one goal, your mind leaps to the next. Gratitude, on the other hand, anchors happiness in the present. Psychological research shows that regular gratitude practice increases overall life satisfaction, reduces stress, and strengthens relationships. This is because gratitude rewires your brain to notice and value positive experiences no matter how small. Over time, your mental default setting shifts toward appreciation rather than dissatisfaction. Several years ago, a friend named Claire lost her job unexpectedly. For weeks, she felt anxious, uncertain, and frustrated. But one morning, while making tea, she noticed how warm the cup felt in her hands, how the sunlight streamed through the kitchen window. She realized she had been so consumed by loss that she had forgotten to notice the small comforts that still surrounded her. From that day, she began writing down 3 things she was grateful for each morning, even if they were as simple as a good night's sleep or a friendly text. Within months, her anxiety lessened. She still searched for work, but she carried herself differently, with more patience, more calm. Eventually, she found a new job she enjoyed even more, but she credits her peace of mind to the habit of gratitude, not the job itself. Morning reflection. Before you check your phone list, 3 things you're grateful for. They can be small: a soft pillow, a sunny morning, a safe home. Gratitude walks. During a walk, consciously notice what you appreciate: the sound of leaves, the kindness of strangers, the rhythm of your breath. Gratitude letters. Write to someone who has impacted your life. You don't even have to send it. The act of writing deepens your sense of appreciation. Shift the lens in challenges. Ask, what can I still be grateful for right now? This reframes even difficult moments. End of day review. Before sleeping, recall one thing from the day that made you smile. A grateful heart naturally steadies the mind. When you focus on what you have instead of what you lack, fear and anxiety have less ground to grow. Gratitude doesn't erase problems, but it gives you a broader perspective. You see your difficulties in the context of your blessings. This is why gratitude is often called an emotional anchor. In the storms of life, it keeps you from drifting too far into despair or frustration. Comparison, measuring your life against others' highlights, breeds discontent. Gratitude breaks this cycle by bringing focus back to your own reality. Adaptation. Humans adapt quickly to good things and start taking them for granted. Gratitude slows this adaptation, keeping your appreciation fresh. Perfectionism. Waiting for everything to be right before feeling grateful means you'll be waiting forever. Gratitude thrives in imperfection. A grateful heart is not a mood, it's a skill. Like any skill, it grows with practice. Some days gratitude will come easily. Other days you'll have to dig for it. But even on the hardest days, there's almost always something, however small, that can spark appreciation. The more you practice gratitude, the more you realize that joy isn't always about adding more to your life. Often it's about noticing what's already here. The Stoics valued gratitude not as sentimentality, but as a rational recognition of life's gifts. Seneca wrote, "Nothing is more honorable than a grateful heart." To the Stoic, gratitude was both a virtue and a safeguard against discontent. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on the people and events that shaped him, expressing thanks even for hardships because they offered lessons in resilience. For the Stoics, to live without gratitude was to live blind to reality. Every day contained blessings, the chance to breathe, to act, to live in accordance with nature. Practicing gratitude aligns with the Stoic aim of accepting life as it comes, finding value in the present moment rather than yearning for what is absent. A grateful heart, then, is not only a source of happiness, but also a shield against the dissatisfaction that comes from chasing what we cannot control. Imagine standing at the edge of a lake early in the morning. The surface is so still that it mirrors the sky perfectly. Clouds, birds, even the faint blush of sunrise reflected without distortion. Beneath that calm surface lies depth layers of water undisturbed by the ripples above home, to life hidden from the casual observer. This is what it means to have a heart like a lake, calm on the surface, steady in depth, and able to reflect reality with clarity. The image is simple, but the lesson is profound. Steadiness is not the absence of movement, but the ability to return to balance quickly, no matter what disturbs you. The surface of the lake represents your visible reactions, what the world sees in your words, expressions and tone. The depths of the lake represent your inner world, your values, principles, and self-awareness. When your heart is like a lake, external disturbances, criticism, stress, unexpected change may cause temporary ripples on the surface, but they do not reach or disturb your core. You process events without letting them cloud your understanding of who you are or what matters most. A still lake reflects its surroundings faithfully. In the same way, a calm heart reflects reality accurately. When emotions churn the surface, your reflection of events becomes distorted. You might misinterpret someone's intentions, overestimate a threat, or underestimate your own abilities. Steadiness allows you to see things as they are, not better, not worse, and then choose the wisest course of action. Depth is what gives a lake its resilience. A shallow pool can be stirred into chaos by the slightest wind. A deep lake barely notices. In life, depth comes from cultivating inner resources, self-knowledge, life experience, moral principles, and a sense of purpose. These give you ballast so you're not easily overturned by temporary conditions. This depth also nourishes others. Just as a lake supports life in its depths, a steady heart can provide safety and support for people around you. During a family crisis, a woman named Hannah found herself surrounded by fear and confusion. Arguments broke out over what to do next. Voices rose, decisions stalled. Instead of adding to the noise, Hannah spoke slowly, asked clarifying questions, and reminded everyone of their shared goal. Her calmness didn't magically solve the crisis, but it created a space where others could think more clearly. Later, her brother told her, "You were like the still part of the room that we could all anchor to." That's the essence of a heart, like a lake, not controlling the storm, but giving others a place to steady themselves. Daily stillness. Spend 5 to 10 minutes each day sitting quietly, letting thoughts settle like silt in water. Slow your first response. Before speaking in emotionally charged situations, take a breath and picture the lake's surface staying smooth. Anchor in your values. Remind yourself of what you stand for, so momentary turbulence doesn't sway you. Observe without absorbing. Notice the winds around you gossip, fear, anger, without letting them stir your depths. Return to balance quickly. When disturbed, consciously let emotions settle before deciding your next move. The lake metaphor helps you visualize what calmness feels like. It gives you an image to hold in your mind during moments of stress. When you feel agitation rising, you can ask yourself, am I being a shallow pool right now or a deep lake? This mental picture becomes a guide, a way to return to steadiness without needing to analyze every emotion in the moment. Over time, you may find that your lake state becomes your natural way of being, overreacting to small ripples. Letting minor irritations dominate your attention disturbs your calm unnecessarily. Neglecting depth. Without ongoing learning, reflection, and principle building, your lake remains shallow and fragile. Mistaking stillness for passivity. A lake is not inert. It supports life and change. Likewise, steadiness is active engagement without unnecessary turbulence. The beauty of this metaphor is that it's portable. You can carry it into work meetings, family conversations, even traffic jams. When you keep the image of the lake in mind, you're more likely to maintain the kind of presence that steadies both you and those around you. And when the wind does disturb your surface, you can trust that the depth you've cultivated will hold you steady until calm returns. The Stoics often spoke in metaphors to describe inner strength. While they did not use the image of a lake, the principle aligns closely with their teachings. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The mind, once steady, is like a fortress, no assault can shake it." A lake and a fortress share the same quality, stability in the face of external forces. For the Stoic, steadiness comes from living in harmony with nature and reason. Outer events may disturb the surface temporarily, but the depths grounded in virtue remain untouched. Epictetus reminded his students to keep their ruling faculty undisturbed no matter what storms arose. Seeing your heart as a lake is simply another way of practicing the Stoic ideal to be unmoved by what you cannot control, while reflecting truth and acting with integrity. Calm on the surface, deep in principle, steady in all weather. When you picture a lake on a windless morning, the first thing you notice is the stillness of its surface. It's not frozen, and it's not lifeless, it's simply undisturbed. That still surface is what allows the lake to mirror the world around it with perfect clarity. In life, your surface is the part of you that others see: your tone of voice, facial expressions, and visible reactions. And just like the surface of the lake, the state of your outer self often reveals the state of your inner self. When you are inwardly calm, your surface remains smooth, reflecting reality without distortion. When you are agitated, even if you try to hide it, ripples appear in your words, your posture, your decisions. Stillness is not the absence of thought or feeling. It's the deliberate choice to hold steady while your mind processes the situation. It's the difference between snapping back immediately and taking a slow breath before you speak. People sense stillness. In tense meetings, the calmest person often becomes the unofficial leader, not because they're the loudest, but because others subconsciously trust stability over volatility. Stillness communicates confidence without arrogance and authority without aggression. When your surface remains still, you create space, both for yourself and for others. Space to think, to listen, to weigh what truly matters before acting. In emotionally charged moments, most people either react impulsively or retreat entirely. Stillness offers a third path, staying present without escalating the tension. This is especially important when you're navigating conflict, making high-stakes decisions, or comforting someone in distress. David, a firefighter, once told me about a rescue call where the building's front room was engulfed in smoke and panic. People were shouting conflicting instructions, alarms blared, and visibility was low. Instead of adding to the noise, David moved deliberately, speaking only when necessary, his voice steady. The other firefighters mirrored his pace and tone. Within minutes, the chaos became coordinated action, and they got everyone out safely. Later, a colleague told him, "You didn't just help control the fire, you helped control us." That's the quiet influence of a still surface. Pause before you show it. Even if you feel irritation or fear, take a beat before letting it reach your voice or face. Neutral posture. Keep your body open and grounded. Crossed arms, clenched fists, or restless movements can signal agitation even before you speak. Controlled breathing. Slow, deep breaths can steady both your inner state and the subtle cues your body sends. Measured words. Speak clearly and at a moderate pace, especially when emotions run high. Visual anchors. Picture your mind as a calm pool before responding. It helps your body project that same calm. Just as wind creates ripples that spread across the water, agitation spreads through groups. If one person in a team loses composure, it often triggers others to do the same. But a still surface can halt that chain reaction. Your steadiness tells others, "We can handle this without panic." Over time, people learn they can rely on you to be a grounding force. A presence that steadies the emotional weather of any situation. Provocation. When someone tries to get a reaction from you, staying still can feel unnatural. Misinterpretation. Some may mistake your stillness for indifference or disengagement. Inner turbulence. A calm exterior is difficult to maintain if your inner state is chaotic. This is why inner work is essential. Stillness is not only for high-pressure moments. You can practice it in small ways. When someone cuts in line, choose to keep your face relaxed and your breathing steady. When you're interrupted mid-sentence, pause, then continue without irritation in your tone. When technology fails in the middle of a presentation, take a slow breath before troubleshooting. By practicing in low-stakes situations, you strengthen the ability to remain undisturbed when the stakes are high. The Stoics often spoke about maintaining equanimity, a mental state unshaken by external events. Epictetus advised, "When you are offended at any man's fault, turn to yourself and study your own failings. Then you will forget your anger." For a Stoic, the still surface comes from recognizing that most provocations are outside your control. What you can control is the way you present yourself to the world. Marcus Aurelius, in Meditations, reminded himself to meet rudeness in justice and chaos with composure, because losing his calm would only hand power to the disturbance. In this sense, a still surface is not an act of suppression, but of mastery. It is the outer expression of inner stability, a visible reminder to yourself and others that strength does not have to be loud or forceful to be real. In a world that often rewards force, speed, and volume, gentleness can be mistaken for weakness. But true gentleness is not fragility, it is controlled strength. It is the choice to meet the world not with aggression, but with understanding. Gentleness is what allows a surgeon's hands to perform delicate work without harm. It is what allows a leader to guide a struggling team without humiliation. It is what allows a friend to comfort without smothering. In every case, gentleness is not the absence of power. It is power carefully directed. People open up where they feel safe. Gentleness is the quality that creates that safety. When you approach others without sharpness in your tone or judgment in your eyes, you signal it's safe to be yourself here. This doesn't mean you avoid honesty or hard truths. It means you deliver them in a way that protects dignity. A gentle voice, even when speaking difficult words, can be received without the resistance that harshness triggers. Gentleness is often the first step toward healing, whether in physical recovery, emotional repair, or rebuilding trust. Think of someone caring for a wounded animal. The caregiver's touch must be firm enough to help, yet gentle enough not to cause further harm. The same principle applies in human relationships. When someone is hurting, a gentle approach helps them lower their defenses so healing can begin. Michael was a manager known for his efficiency, but not for his patience. One day, a junior employee made a mistake that cost the company a significant client. The old Michael might have scolded them in front of the team. Instead, he called the employee into his office, spoke in a calm, measured tone, and asked them to explain what happened. When they finished, Michael said, "I know this was costly, but I also know you didn't intend for it to happen. Let's work on a process together so it doesn't happen again." That employee not only stayed with the company, but became one of the most reliable members of the team. The change came because Michael chose gentleness over condemnation. Soften your first response. Even when frustrated, take a breath and lower your voice before speaking. Choose words with care. Speak truthfully, but avoid words that cut deeper than necessary. Listen fully. Allow people to finish before responding. Gentleness often begins with giving full attention. Respect emotional space. Gentleness sometimes means giving someone time before addressing an issue. Balance firmness and compassion. Gentleness doesn't mean tolerating harmful behavior. It means addressing it without unnecessary harm. It's easy to lash out when provoked. It takes strength to remain composed and respond with care. Gentleness requires self-control, the ability to manage your own emotions so they don't spill over and damage the other person. Gentleness also requires courage. There's a risk in opening yourself to another's vulnerability in approaching without armor. But that risk is what builds genuine connection. Gentleness is contagious. When you treat others with patience and respect, it often inspires them to do the same. This can transform the tone of a workplace, a family, or even a chance encounter with a stranger. Think of the last time someone treated you gently when you expected criticism or indifference. Chances are it changed your entire mood, maybe even your day. Challenges to practicing gentleness. Perceived weakness. Some will mistake gentleness for lack of authority. This is why pairing it with quiet confidence is essential. Personal frustration. It's harder to be gentle when you're tired, stressed, or under pressure. This makes self-care a critical foundation. Fear of conflict. Avoiding necessary confrontation is not gentleness, it's avoidance. True gentleness faces the issue with respect and care. Gentleness is not only for moments of crisis. It can be part of daily life, greeting others without hurry, handling objects with care, speaking with warmth, even in small interactions. These micro moments build an identity, both in your own eyes and in the eyes of others, as someone whose presence is safe and restorative. When gentleness becomes your default, people don't just listen to you, they trust you. And that trust is the foundation for influence that lasts. The Stoics valued a balance between firmness and kindness. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." In practice, this means refusing to mirror the harshness or cruelty you encounter. Seneca spoke of humanitas, the quality of being humane, as a necessary companion to wisdom, for the Stoic strength was incomplete without the capacity for compassion. Gentleness in this view is not a softening of virtue, but a refinement of it. Approaching others with gentleness aligns with the Stoic ideal of living in accordance with nature, treating rational beings as kin, not opponents. By meeting the world with both steadiness and care, you embody a form of strength that does not dominate through fear, but draws others toward reason through respect. In this way, gentleness becomes not just a personal virtue, but a civic one. When a storm hits a shallow pond, the entire body of water is thrown into chaos. Waves crash from end to end, and debris stirs from the bottom. But when that same storm passes over a deep lake, only the surface is disturbed. Beneath the depths, remain still. Depth is what gives you resilience in life. It is the accumulation of values, self-awareness and perspective that cannot be easily shaken. Without depth, even small challenges can feel overwhelming. With depth, even great hardship can be met without losing your foundation. Depth is not about having more information or a long list of experiences. It's about understanding what truly matters, seeing events in their broader context, and holding on to a set of guiding principles, even under pressure. Depth shows itself when you remain steady during change because you know your purpose. You forgive because you see beyond the momentary offense. You endure loss without letting it harden your heart. Why? Depth is built, not given. You are not born with depth. It develops over time through reflection, challenge, and deliberate living. Hardships, if approached with openness, add to your depth rather than diminish it. Reading deeply, having honest conversations, traveling beyond your comfort zone, and facing adversity, all these shape the underwater part of your character. The more depth you build, the less dependent your peace becomes on external stability. When Thomas lost his small business during an economic downturn, friends feared the setback would crush him. Instead, he calmly sold his remaining assets, met with his employees to help them transition, and began planning his next venture. Later, when asked how he had managed to stay composed, Thomas said, "This business was important, but it wasn't my whole life. I've built my life on more than one thing: my family, my values, my faith. Losing one piece doesn't mean I've lost myself." That's depth, knowing that your identity and stability are anchored in more than a single circumstance. How to cultivate depth: clarify your core values. Decide what principles you will not compromise on, no matter the situation. Expand your perspective. Read widely, travel, and listen to stories that challenge your worldview. Reflect regularly. Journaling or meditation helps you process experiences and learn from them. Face hardships intentionally. Don't rush to escape discomfort. Stay long enough to learn from it. Invest in meaningful relationships. People with depth draw strength from deep connections, not shallow networks. Hardships test the strength of your foundation. Without depth, you may rely entirely on circumstances to feel secure. And when they change, your stability collapses. With depth, you hold on to a broader view that life is more than the current storm, and you are more than the roles or possessions you might lose. Depth is also what allows you to recover faster. You see failure not as an ending, but as a chapter, and you draw from inner reserves of patience and creativity to move forward. Depth rarely announces itself. You can often spot it in people who listen more than they speak, who do not rush to judgment, and who remain grounded when others are swept away by emotion. This quiet confidence is magnetic. People sense they can lean on you without fear of being judged or abandoned. And in times of collective stress, those with depth become anchors for entire groups. Distraction, a life of constant noise and surface-level engagement, leaves little room for reflection. Avoidance of discomfort. Growth often comes from enduring difficulty. Avoiding it can stunt depth. Impatience. Depth develops slowly. There is no shortcut, and trying to force it often leads to shallow imitation. Depth is not just for crises. It shapes the way you approach ordinary moments, how you listen to a friend, how you respond to minor frustrations, how you plan your future. Every day offers an opportunity to strengthen your inner foundation so that when storms come, you are not merely surviving, you are standing firm, able to help others as well. The Stoics embodied depth through their commitment to living according to virtue regardless of circumstances. Marcus Aurelius faced war loss and political unrest, yet wrote in Meditations, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it." His depth came from seeing events as part of a larger natural order, not as personal attacks. Epictetus, born a slave, developed depth by focusing entirely on what was within his control, his mind, his choices, his character. This inner focus allowed him to remain unbroken by external hardships. For the Stoic, depth is the product of reason, reflection, and the acceptance of life's impermanence. It is the deep water beneath the surface, untouched by passing storms, that gives a person the ability to face adversity with both strength and serenity. Flexibility is often seen as a purely physical trait, the ability to bend without breaking, to stretch further, to move with ease. But in yoga, flexibility is more than just touching your toes. It's about creating a body that supports you through life's demands and challenges. In our daily routines, the body is often treated like a machine pushed through long hours of sitting, repetitive motions, and occasional bursts of activity. Over time, muscles tighten, joints lose their range of motion, and movements become stiff. Yoga offers a way to reverse that process, not through force, but through consistent, mindful stretching and strengthening. Flexibility isn't just for athletes or dancers. It's essential for everyone. When your muscles and joints are flexible, you reduce the risk of injury, improve posture, and move more efficiently. Everyday tasks, from reaching for something on a high shelf to bending down to tie your shoes, become easier and less taxing. Flexibility also supports circulation, helping to deliver oxygen and nutrients more effectively throughout the body. And because yoga combines stretching with conscious breathing, it brings both physical and mental relaxation. Unlike aggressive stretching routines that push the body into extreme positions, yoga works with your current capabilities. You ease into poses, hold them long enough for muscles to release, and use the breath to deepen the stretch without strain. This mindful approach means progress comes steadily. Over weeks and months, your body begins to open up. Hips, loosen hamstrings, lengthen shoulders, release. Movements that once felt tight or awkward become fluid and natural. Lena, a 42-year-old office worker, began practicing yoga after chronic lower back pain made it hard to sit through meetings. At first, she could barely touch her knees in a forward fold. But instead of forcing herself, she committed to gentle, regular practice. 3 months later, not only could she touch her toes, but her back pain had diminished dramatically. She realized that the physical flexibility she was gaining was also affecting her mindset. She became more patient, less frustrated by small delays, and more open to new ideas at work. Yoga teaches that the body and mind are connected. As your body becomes more flexible, so does your approach to life. You learn to adapt when plans change, to bend, without feeling broken by unexpected events. This mental flexibility is a byproduct of physical practice. In yoga, you often meet resistance, tightness in the muscles, discomfort in a pose. You learn to breathe through it, not to fight it. The same skill applies when facing challenges outside the mat. Practical tips for building flexibility through yoga. Start slow. Focus on a few basic poses that target major muscle groups, e.g. forward fold, downward dog, low lunge. Breathe deeply. Use long, steady breaths to help muscles release tension. Practice consistently. Short daily sessions are more effective than occasional long ones. Listen to your body. Stretch to the point of gentle tension, never pain. Balance strength and stretch. Strengthening muscles supports flexibility and prevents injury. Common myths about flexibility. I'm not flexible enough to do yoga. This is like saying you're too hungry to eat. Yoga is for building flexibility, not just for the already flexible. Flexibility comes naturally. Some people may be naturally limber, but most gain flexibility through consistent practice. Flexibility is only about muscles. Joint health, connective tissue, elasticity, and nervous system relaxation all play a role. A flexible body reduces physical tension, which in turn reduces mental stress. When your body moves easily, you feel more at home in it, less distracted by discomfort, more present in the moment. This physical ease supports emotional balance, making it easier to remain calm when life throws you off course. While the Stoics did not speak about physical flexibility in the yogic sense, they valued adaptability, a flexibility of the mind. Epictetus taught, don't seek for everything to happen as you wish it would, but rather wish that everything happens as it actually will, then your life will flow well. In this way, yoga's physical flexibility mirrors Stoic mental flexibility. Both require steady practice, patience, and the willingness to meet resistance without force. As you stretch the body, you also stretch the mind's capacity to accept and adapt. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself to move with the flow of nature rather than resisting it. A flexible body, like a flexible mind, is less likely to break under pressure. It bends, adjusts, and finds its way back to balance, a living embodiment of resilience. While yoga is often recognized for its physical benefits, strength, balance, flexibility, its deeper gifts are found in the mind and heart. The calmness it brings to the mind and the kindness it cultivates in the heart are inseparable. One flows naturally into the other. When you practice yoga, you don't just move your body, you slow your thoughts. You match breath to movement, and in doing so, you create a rhythm that quiets the mental noise. This mental stillness is the foundation from which kindness naturally grows toward yourself first, and then toward others. Life bombards us with constant stimulation, screens, notifications, background noise, competing demands. Over time, this overstimulation keeps the mind in a low-grade state of agitation. Yoga offers an antidote. Through steady breathing, mindful movement, and sustained focus, yoga activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the body's rest and digest mode. As the nervous system calms, so does the mind. A calm mind is not empty, it's clear. It can observe without rushing to judgment. It can focus without being pulled in 10 directions. And most importantly, it becomes less reactive. Kindness in the heart begins with how you treat yourself on the mat. In yoga, pushing yourself beyond your limits is not a sign of strength. It's a lack of listening. You learn to respect your body's boundaries and to meet yourself where you are. This self-compassion naturally extends outward. When you stop judging yourself harshly, you stop judging others so quickly. When you learn patience with your own progress, you offer patience to those around you. Kindness ceases to be a calculated act and becomes a natural expression of who you are. Evelyn, a marketing executive, began yoga to reduce her back pain. At first, she focused only on the poses, treating the practice like a workout. But over time, she noticed changes beyond the physical. She became more patient during high-pressure meetings. She stopped snapping at her assistant over minor mistakes. She even found herself listening more attentively to her teenage daughter. When asked what had changed, Evelyn said, "Yoga slowed me down enough to notice how I was treating people. It's like my mind stopped rushing ahead, and I started meeting people where they were." Practical ways. Yoga cultivates calmness and kindness. Breath awareness. Focusing on the inhale and exhale anchors the mind, making it harder for stress to hijack your thoughts. Non-competitive practice. Yoga encourages you to honor your own journey instead of comparing yourself to others. Mindful transitions. Moving slowly between poses teaches patience and attentiveness skills you carry into daily life. Savasana, final relaxation. This stillness at the end of practice integrates calmness into your nervous system, making it easier to access later. Ahimsa, non-harming. A core yogic principle that guides you to avoid causing harm in speech, action, or thought. A calm mind creates space for kindness. When you are not overwhelmed by mental clutter, you can truly see others, their struggles, their needs, their humanity. Likewise, kindness reinforces calmness. When you interact with compassion rather than conflict, you avoid unnecessary emotional agitation. This creates a positive loop. The calmer you are, the kinder you become. The kinder you are, the calmer you remain. Kindness means weakness. In reality, it takes strength to respond with compassion in the face of provocation. Calmness is passivity. Calmness is an active state of awareness, not a lack of engagement. Yoga is only physical. Without its mental and emotional aspects, yoga loses its deepest transformative potential. You don't need a yoga mat to practice these qualities. You can pause to take 3 slow breaths before answering a difficult email. You can choose to speak gently when correcting a mistake. You can decide to listen fully when someone needs to talk. Over time, calmness and kindness stop being practices and become part of your character, not because you force them, but because you have built the mental and emotional space for them to flourish. The Stoics valued both composure and benevolence, seeing them as essential virtues. Marcus Aurelius advised himself to meet others' faults with understanding, remembering that all people act according to what they believe is good, even when they are wrong. This is a form of kindness rooted in wisdom. For the Stoic, calmness comes from focusing on what is within your control, your thoughts, your actions, your words. Kindness comes from recognizing our shared human nature. Epictetus taught that we are brothers by nature, and harming another is ultimately harming ourselves. When yoga cultivates a calm mind and a kind heart, it aligns perfectly with this Stoic vision: reason guiding action, compassion guiding intention. Both traditions remind us that true strength is not about overpowering others, but about mastering ourselves and living in harmony with those around us. Yoga, at its core, is a practice of awareness. The physical postures, the breathing exercises, the moments of stillness, they are all tools for one purpose: to bring you fully into the present moment. Awareness of life means living with your eyes open, not just to what's around you, but to what's within you. It is noticing the texture of your breath, the rhythm of your thoughts, the shifting sensations in your body. It is feeling the sun on your skin without rushing past it, hearing the tone in someone's voice without being too distracted to truly listen. Most of us move through our days on autopilot. We eat without tasting, walk without noticing the ground, and speak without truly hearing our own words. Yoga interrupts that autopilot mode. On the mat, you're invited to pay attention to how your feet press into the floor, to how your spine lengthens, to the way your breath changes when you stretch. This attention strengthens like a muscle. Over time, you begin to carry it beyond the mat into conversations, meals, commutes, and even moments of conflict. When you are aware, you are connected to yourself, to others, to the environment. You start to see that your actions ripple outward. You notice how your mood affects the tone of a meeting, how your words can either heal or wound, how your smallest habits contribute to your overall well-being. Yoga teaches that you are not separate from life. You are part of it. Awareness is the bridge between you and the larger whole. Raj, an engineer, began yoga to improve his posture. But during one class, while holding a simple pose, he realized how often he clenched his jaw without noticing. That small awareness led him to observe other unconscious habits, rushing his meals, interrupting his wife mid-sentence, ignoring how tense his shoulders felt during work. By bringing awareness to these patterns, Raj began to change them. He slowed his eating, listened more in conversations, and took breaks to relax his shoulders. The quality of his relationships improved and his stress levels dropped. Practical ways to cultivate awareness through yoga. Start each practice with intention. Decide what you want to focus on before moving into poses. Use breath as an anchor. Let each inhale and exhale be a reminder to return to the present. Scan your body. Notice areas of tension and release them gradually. Observe without judgment. If your mind wanders, simply notice and bring it back without frustration. End with reflection. In Savasana, ask yourself, what did I notice today that I usually miss? Awareness turns ordinary moments into experiences. Drinking water becomes refreshing. Walking outside becomes energizing. Talking with a friend becomes deeply connecting. It's not that life changes, it's that you are finally present for it. With awareness, you catch yourself before reacting impulsively. You notice the small joys you used to overlook. You feel more alive, not because more is happening, but because you are more present for what is already happening. Challenges to staying aware, distraction overload. The modern world constantly pulls attention outward with alerts, ads, and noise. Mental restlessness. A busy mind resists stillness and prefers to jump ahead. Attachment to multitasking. Doing multiple things at once weakens your ability to be fully present in any of them. The antidote is regular practice moments each day, where you focus entirely on one thing, whether it's your breath, your meal, or a conversation. In many ways, awareness is the highest form of calmness. It's not just the absence of chaos, it's the active presence of attention. Through yoga, the body learns to move with ease, the mind learns to quiet down, and the heart learns to open. From there, awareness becomes not just something you practice, but the way you live. The Stoics practiced a form of awareness they called prososwashi, constant attention to the mind and actions. Epictetus urged his students to be attentive to your impressions, meaning to notice thoughts and feelings before they harden into judgments or actions. For Marcus Aurelius, awareness was the key to living in alignment with nature and virtue. He reminded himself to greet each day with clarity, to see events as they truly are, not as fear or desire would distort them. In this sense, yoga's awareness and Stoic prosoche are parallel paths. Both ask you to step out of autopilot, to meet life with full presence, and to act deliberately. When you live with awareness, you are no longer a passive passenger in life. You are an active participant, shaping your responses with intention and integrity. Across these 12 parts, we've explored calmness from every angle, as a gift, a skill, and a way of living. We've seen it in the gentle strength of a still surface, the resilience of deep waters, the healing force of kindness, the grounding wisdom of gratitude, and the quiet adaptability of both mind and body. We've walked through practices drawn from daily life, the imagery of nature and the discipline of yoga, and we've reflected on the enduring guidance of Stoic philosophy, a reminder that calmness is not a passive state. but an active choice to live in harmony with what is within your control and at peace with what is not. Calmness is not the absence of storms. It is the ability to remain steady while they pass. It's a mind that can see clearly, even when the world is unclear. It's a heart that can stay open, even when life feels closed. The tools are now in your hands. Begin your days with intention, a smile, a moment of stillness, a thought of gratitude. Guard the gap between stimulus and response, the place where your true power lives. Anchor yourself in values that do not shift with the wind. Practice in small moments, because calmness in the little things prepares you for calmness in the big things. Stay aware, not just of what is happening around you, but of how you are choosing to meet it. You may find that calmness changes how others see you. Perhaps they will call you steady, reliable, or unshakable. But more importantly, it will change how you see yourself. You will recognize that you do not need to chase control over the world. You only need to master the way you carry yourself within it. Remember, calmness is not a final destination. It is a practice, one you return to every day, in every conversation, in every challenge. Some days you will find it easily. Other days, you will need to search for it. That is the journey. And every time you choose calmness over chaos, you strengthen it until it becomes the way you live without even thinking. So ask yourself, as you close this journey, if my mind were a lake, would it be rippled or still? If my heart were a compass, would it point to fear or to peace? You already have the answer, and you already have the tools to make it so.